I really appreciate you joining me today, and this news comes from Birmingham, and it's an update in relation to a story that we covered on the 13th of March this year. Ahmad Sino was followed by a police helicopter to his house after he'd stabbed a man to death following a row over wedding gifts. The victim was Mohammed Ibrahim, and he was stabbed to death in the doorstep of his family home, and his son was also injured during the devastating attack. He suffered 4 stab wounds in the Castle Vale area. The 55-year-old sadly passed away, but his son was also seriously injured, but survived the attack. Mr Ibrahim's family called 999 and the police started to track Sino, who is 43 years old, as he drove across the city back to his home with the knife in a bag in the car. He was arrested at 20 to 2 the same day as armed police surrounded him outside his home, and he put up no resistance. They found a carrier bag with 2 knives inside, and one was later connected to Mr Ibrahim via blood that was found on it. Mr Sino was found guilty of murder and also attempted murder last month, and a second man was found not guilty of charges. He was sentenced at Birmingham Crown Court this month to life in prison with a minimum of 26 years. Detective Inspector Damien Forrest from Birmingham Homicide Team said Sino's decision to carry a knife resulted in the death of a father. His actions have rightly been brought to justice, and they underline the irreversible impact that knife crime can have on families. So I want to send my condolences to the family of Mohammed, and thank you to everybody that followed this story as we documented it at the time and also the conclusion this week. In an update to another story that I covered several days ago in relation to the murder of a 16-year-old boy in the Birmingham area, Ladywood. Today they have identified him, and regular viewers should remember that there was a second body found, and they said it's connected to this case, but it wasn't murder next to a gun in a land behind the address where the boy was found. Today, the police have identified the first teenager as 16-year-old Diego Henry, and his family said in a statement that he was a well-mannered young man who would put a smile on anybody's face. He'll be sadly missed by his mother, father, siblings, and extended larger family and friends. Diego always expressed a passion for music, and he would be always dancing, singing or rapping wherever he was. The circumstances surrounding Diego's death are a shock for everybody, but the family would like to extend their gratitude and continued support from everybody that has been in touch. Detectives are continuing to piece together what happened on bonfire night when Diego was found at an address in Lighthorn Avenue, Ladywood, at 12:30 p.m. It was during the course of the investigation that the police searched wasteland nearby, near to a canal, and discovered the body of a 17-year-old. A forensic post-mortem examination will take place to determine the cause of death, but they are not looking for anybody else in relation to the second body. A 17-year-old was arrested on suspicion of Diego's murder, and he remains on police bail. Detective Superintendent Sean Edwards from the homicide team said, "This is a complex investigation and a tragic set of circumstances. My sympathies remain with the family of both of the boys. We are currently following several lines of inquiry, and we will ask anybody that has information to contact us as soon as possible." So this is a fast-moving story, and we'll definitely keep you updated on any progression. And of course, this is the first time we'll actually be able to pay respects to Diego, even though no images have been released yet. But the family did mention about his music career, and we can now elaborate a little bit further on that in relation to the fact that he was a drill rapper called Bricker, and some of his music is available on social media, and this is where people paid respects to him as well. In some more recent news, police have only just released a statement about an attack that took place on a homeless man on the 7th of November. The man was asleep in an underpass in the Hockley area. I believe this may have been by the subways at Bolton Middleway and Hockley Hill. The man was in his 30s and he suffered life-changing injuries to his face and hands and remains in a stable condition in hospital. It is believed that they set fire to his bedding and some clothes and put it on top of him. And the man that they believe is responsible is 5'5" and was wearing a white vest, black gloves, grey jogging bottoms and chains. But they are yet to release any images of anybody that they want. They just have an image of a scooter with half a person on it. But of course, this goes to show, again, the dangers that are posed to people that sleep rough, and especially coming into the winter months, how cold it's going to be outside, and how maybe the government and council could be doing more to prevent this from being a risk. Staying in the Birmingham area, but in Erdington, a man has been charged after a 43-year-old was found with stab wounds inside a house on Doige Road in Erdington. This was at 1 p.m. on Friday, the 10th of November. Nothing could be done to save the man's life, and he was declared dead at the scene. He has now been identified as Anthony Sharma. It has also been revealed that this was a shared accommodation. Diogo Betancourt was arrested at the property and has now been charged with his murder, as well as false representation. They said that he used his bank card following the victim's death to try to withdraw, or did withdraw, some money. And this is where they specified that it's a multi-occupancy house, so this is a shared accommodation, very popular for them to put single males, often with mental health issues, just come out of prison or even drug addictions, in the same house. So you could have 5 people that you've never met before living amongst each other with various different issues. And I cover a lot of stories that take place where murders occur inside shared accommodations. So I'd like to hear from people in the comments if they've ever had a bad experience inside the shared accommodation, or if they believe that more needs to be done to try to make these sorts of living arrangements safer for everybody involved. So my condolences to the family of Anthony Sharma, and we'll definitely keep you updated on the outcome of that trial. So I really appreciate you joining me for this update. Please don't forget to check the channel regularly due to the fact that YouTube isn't notifying all our followers. You can also follow on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook and Twitter to get regular updates and links to the videos that will be on YouTube, because the last thing that we'd want is people to miss out on stories and news that is really important. And I really appreciate everybody that supports every single day, and big up everybody in the chat that joins the premieres. This really does help to increase the profile of the channel, and also to get the stories out there that matter. I'll be back again very shortly with some more news. Peace. Right, Scarcity at the scene in Ladywood. This is a tribute, I believe, to the second teenager who was found dead 4 days after. I've lit some of these candles again to pay respects, and this is an image of, I believe, to be the second 17-year-old. The first teenager that got killed was 16, and he's been named as Diego Henry, but I know what he looks like, so I'm pretty sure this is the second child. Tributes have been paid, a little bit of drink, a little spliff, some flowers. And this is at the back of the canal here. This is inaccessible. Like this, you can't, it's such a weird layout. So this is wasteland in between the canal and the estate where the 16-year-old was shot dead. And this is where the 17-year-old was found with a firearm in this area. So I'm going to walk through now. I didn't get onto this because this is where the forensics were. So this is, yeah, just like not used land, basically. It's not particularly big. I'm not sure why it took them 4 days to find him. This is just a tent. There's nothing to do with the police. That is literally just somebody living there. But as you can see, it's quite dense there. And that is where I was originally, over by the train tracks. And that is the estate where the 16-year-old was shot dead. So the body of the 17-year-old, I believe, was found pretty much around this area. It was definitely in this area, in this land. I'm not sure about the exact location, but I believe it would be around this area. And the 16-year-old was shot. If you see that building on the left, he was killed in that building, which I believe is Maisonette. And this land is open to the estate, but it's the only way you can get into it is from the estate. There's no other way, because as you can see here, oh, there's some cannabis dumped there. This canal, it doesn't, people can't, like you see the bridge there? That's how people access it. This is dead. So it's a very, it's just a dead bit of the canal. And that is the part that runs into town. But you can't access it via anywhere except that estate in front of me. And the boy who was shot dead was found in the property that's on the far left there, just in